What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel for another video. Today's gonna be a good one for those of you with a Honda 250X, the newer one, newer style, like 2001 and up, and the Honda Recon 250. So previously on the channel, some of you guys may have caught it already. I did an air injection system delete on this unit. I had a couple comments that said that they did it the way I did it, and they're with the vacuum caps and blocking off the hard metal lines coming off the engine, and that they had an issue with the caps blowing off or something. There was like two people that said that. So I found that interesting because I've had it this way for over a year. It's never been an issue. I don't know if some people were using maybe the wrong type of vacuum caps and they were melting, not automotive ones. But I found after the last comment, for a while, I could never find a company that actually made an official block-off plate to completely eliminate the lines coming out of the engine, like they do for like a Raptor or, other dirt bikes and stuff like that. So I did another little Google search and I found a company in Phoenix. Just so happens I'm in Tucson, Arizona, so they were in Phoenix. So I got the product right away when I ordered it from, like, in a couple of days. And so we're gonna install that today. It's from Sigma Performance. So I'm gonna leave a link in the video description where you guys can order this kit from them. It was fairly inexpensive, a few dollars. I don't remember what I paid, 20-something dollars maybe, and then a couple dollars to ship. I think it was like $39 shipped to my house. So well worth it. It comes with the two plates, because as you guys know, on these units here, there's one on each side of the head. There is the hard metal line that comes off. So this is gonna be just this portion of the install, just installing those block-off plates. I already have a video on the channel. I will post that one up here. You guys can check that one out, or I'll post it at the end of the video. You can check it out after the video too. If you want, watch that one first. You can see all the stuff that you have to remove before you get to this part, which is not a long process, but there's a whole pile of stuff that's gonna be missing from this video because I've already deleted all that stuff in the previous video, and we just blocked off the hose, the hard lines with hose clamps. I'll show you what I did here now. I'll turn the camera around, and then I'll show you what we're gonna install to completely eliminate the rest. So again, if you wanna see the full delete, you can start with the other video and then come back, to this one and watch the block-off plate kit installed and see the finished product. But let's turn the camera around and show you. So these are the lines we're now going to eliminate. This is what's left. You have one on that side. You'll see where it bolts into the head. And it's on each side, right by the exhaust port. And that's the way these work. They just pump air right into the head, right where the exhaust is. So it gets extra air going through the exhaust, makes the exhaust run hotter to burn off any unspent fuel, vapors, and stuff like that for emissions. Downside is your exhaust does run hotter and you get a lot of deceleration pop. It's completely, I wouldn't say completely, but 99% eliminated the decel pop. It was pretty bad on this bike with the system it had, and also eliminated a couple of other potential issues. So you check out the other video again for all those details, but this is what we're gonna be getting rid of. So this is the other one here on this side, and you'll see they come up and then they hang out right here. And I just have them capped off. I've never had a problem with these caps coming off, so I don't know why. I don't know what you guys were using. The couple of you that said you had an issue with doing it and you capped these, they said, I'm assuming you meant these caps were popping off on you. I don't know why. This kit's not gonna include everything you need. You are going to still need one additional vacuum cap. So the kit's going to include the block-off plates and lock washers for these two, where these hard lines go into the head. What it's not going to include, if you're going to do this whole thing from scratch, is a tiny vacuum cap. I think it's like a 1/8 inch. You'll see it right there, which comes off the intake boot. And what that does for the air injection system on this machine is there's like there's a vacuum actuated valve that sits under the hood that you're gonna remove. And again, that's all in the previous video, and I'll have that linked here. You can watch that one. But that, depending on vacuum pressure, it actuates that, and then it allows it to pull air from a secondary external little air filter here, a little foam box that sits right about here. And it pulls air through that and it injects it into the head. So all you'll need is a tiny little vacuum cap for the intake boot between the carburetor and the engine. And that has a clamp on it already from the vacuum line that comes from the factory. So you'll reuse that one, put that vacuum cap on. And then what you're gonna do, now we're gonna remove those hard lines. So this is what the kit actually includes, is these two plates. So we're gonna take these two plates, we're gonna take those hard lines off, we're gonna reuse the screws, and we're gonna install these two plates here, along with these lock washers. So let me get the hard lines off and we'll get this stuff installed. I'll show you what's underneath it too. All right guys, so what you're gonna need for tools, you're gonna need a flat blade screwdriver to get this plastic cover off, because you're not gonna need that anymore. That basically just guards the side of the line. And then you're gonna need a 5mm Allen for the 4 screws on the 2 plates there. They are tight. Guess it depends on how old your machine is too. Could be tighter if the machine's really old and they're full of mud and gunk. You probably want to clean that off first anyway. All right guys, so little change of plans on how we're gonna do this. So that bolt that holds the bracket is apparently a head bolt, so it goes through. So you can't really get it out and up unless you take the fuel tank off. I didn't really want to go through all that. So the bracket is actually fairly thin. You'll see I just cut it. I just used a sharp pair of tin snips, honestly. Just like these. You have a pair of tin snips, like a newer pair, nice and sharp. We took off to get the lines off on both sides. Excuse the noise, it's 100 degrees, I got the fan on. I'm kind of cooking in here. You'll see the gasket better on that side there, the little metal gasket. And we're gonna put the cover over that using the bolts and lock washers. So let me get that on and then we'll show you the finished product. We'll start it up, make sure there's no leaks. Should be fine from that point, but let's check it out. You see we got the lock washers on there and a little black metal plate. Get my Allen, put those in. Just gonna do these snug, hand tight. They got lock washers, so it shouldn't come loose. There's no torque specs really that I have for you on this, but I would just say make it hand tight. Good and snug, don't go crazy. All right, guys, the old girl is running. Caps are on. No leaks. Did you see how much cleaner it looks now without all that stuff up there? Nice and clean. Now, especially if you're just starting and you have everything installed, you have that whole box hanging here with all the hoses and all that stuff. It's just a mess. It's much cleaner now. You don't got all that air pumping into the head, from the exhaust, and that little external air box there, which is susceptible to taking in water and pumping it right to the head. That was the whole reason I ended up deleting this from the get-go. Besides you'll hear there's no diesel pump. It just runs really clean now. So I had actually, when I got the machine and there was so much deceleration pop, and I noticed the air injection system on there, I was doing a little research online. I came across a guy with a Honda Recon that actually was, got into a situation where he was in some water, and that box got full of water. The little, where the little foam boxes there holds the external foam air filter. It would have been a much safer design if they ran those hoses to the actual air box and pulled air from there, but they don't for some reason. It must have been just because it's an afterthought and they just hung that little external air filter box on the side. But what happened to this gentleman was that thing sucked in water and pulled the water right into the head. Fortunately, he didn't damage the engine. I mean, these things are pretty rock solid. He pulled his plug, drained his motor, drained all the oil, flushed it out, a couple oil changes later, and everything was fine, he said. I don't know if long term he ended up having any issues, but according to that particular post. But that's a scary thing to have happen, and this avoids all that possible negative recourse. So, and then your exhaust is running cooler. You know, you don't have that decel pop. It's cleaned up, completely eliminated. So thank you to Sigma Performance for creating this kit. It's the only company I've found, and I don't know if it's fairly new that they started creating these kits, or I just happened to stumble across it by accident. I've looked in the past and I never came across anything on Google. But again, I'll leave a link in the video description for this kit. One tip I would have for you is be very careful when you're pulling the hard lines off. That metal gasket has a little bit of a soft coating on one side where it squishes. And that can potentially stick to the hard line you're taking off. If that happens, it's not gonna seal well on the cap. You have two alternatives there. You can use some high compression, high pressure, high temp gasket maker, and just put a little bit of a dab around the ring on each side of the gasket and put it on and let it sit for a while and see if that seals. Or just order those two new gaskets from Honda. You can go on any place that sells OEM part replacement parts like Rocky Mountain ATV, and the OEM part section, all that stuff, and look those gaskets up, order them. If you have a lot of hours on your machine, I would suggest maybe ordering those gaskets first. The kit doesn't come with them, just because it's probably more of a likelihood of those gaskets are gonna tear when you have a lot of hours on the machine. This machine has less than 20 hours on it, doesn't get used a whole lot, so they did come off fairly clean, and everything is sealing up nice. If you have an exhaust, if those don't seal, you're gonna hear what sounds like an exhaust leak. So when you start it up, you're gonna hear like an exhaust leak sound coming from those covers. If you don't hear that or see that, you can put your hand around it kind of when it's cool and feel if any air, you know, popping out of there. You'll be able to tell if you have an exhaust leak or not. But I suggest if you have doing this on an older machine, you got a ton of hours, just get those gaskets to be safe and use the new ones when you install it. Again, just do them hand tight. You have no problems. As you can hear, everything came out nice, works well on this machine. So hopefully this helps somebody, guys. I know there's a couple of you on my last video I did. I said you did have some issues with the way I did it, which is right here. These are the caps that I use on mine. I never had an issue. You see, I just have them on with some zip ties. They've been on there for over a year, several rides, and no problems. But if you were having issues, I'm not denying you were. It's possibly you used the wrong caps or some other reason. I don't know. Maybe you didn't clamp them on. I don't know. But this kit now will completely eliminate that, and it's much cleaner. So that's it, guys. Joe at Odyssey Off-Road. Hope this was helpful for you. You 250X and Honda Recon 250 owners. And smash that subscribe button if you haven't. Check out the links in the video description. Help support the channel. And like the video if it helped you. Leave a comment too. Say hi. We'll talk to you on the next one. Thanks for watching.